Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
So tonight we have a fantastic guest. All right, so you may know him as the Crypt Keeper from the Tales of the Crypt, but he has so many other credits to his name. He was Buster Bunny in the Tiny Toons. He was the Atom in JLA. He did voices for The Grinch, Skylanders, The Secret Life of Pets, Rick and Morty, TMNT. Literally, the list goes on for pages. And we had an entire conversation right before this about all those pages. Our guest, we are so honored to have John Kassir on with us. So, hello.
Hello, creeps. You did a good job of saying my name correctly, too. I love that. Thank you.
Well, it is such an honor to have you here. And we are, I mean, we're flabbergasted. But I guess the first question we ask everybody is, how are you holding up with the pandemic?
You know, I'm doing I'm just grateful I have everything that I need to be able to do what I do, you know, and live with my wife, and I are here with our 2 border collies, you know, staying safe. It's a difficult thing to do, but, you know, we're both still alive. You know, luckily I could do a lot of my work from home. And so I'm grateful for that. I know a lot of people have a lot of less opportunity to do what they need to do and are dying to get out. But I hope from the coronavirus. So I hope you're washing your bony little fingers. And I've been trying not to touch my face, what's left of it.
So that brings me to a quick question. Is it true that, like, when Tales started, you called into the radio station as the Crypt Keeper?
Oh yeah, they used to. Well, every season when we'd launch the show, they'd set up the HBO and the producers of Tales from the Crypt would set me up on radio shows to plug the show as the Crypt Keeper. And they'd start me, I think over maybe 2-3 days, I'd do 50, 60 of them.
That's awesome.
And they would be like drive time shows, like, you know, Mark and Brian, you know, whoever your guys are, where you're at, you know, those kind of morning drive guys that are always doing humorous shows or whatever, ladies, guys, whoever were doing it. And I would come on as the Crypt Keeper. So, it was to promote the show, not me. So, I mean, they would pay me to be the Crypt Keeper, and I'd come on and I'd have to improvise. I'd have a sheet with like every little stupid pun that they had written me, and then I'd be making up my own. I'd be like, okay, kiddies, I hope you're ready for this season, but be careful what you ask for. You may get it. That kind of shit. So
we got to bring on our other co-panelist. It's his birthday today, and he is one of the biggest Skylander fans in the world.
Awesome.
And that is the great legend himself.
What's going on, everybody?
It's the great legend.
Coming at you live, John. What's going on, my friend?
You may be the only non-12-year-old Skylander fan.
I know. Me and my oldest boy, back when they were coming out, God, we got tons of those figures. It was insane, but they were a lot of fun and great little storylines that went along with it. Now, me, I got the X-Men Legends, I got the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games, and that's what I remember. The Deadpool voice, very freaking awesome.
The Merc with a mouth.
I love that stuff, man. And then one of my favorite, vaudevillian black and white classics of all time, Shemp Howard. Always my favorite,
thanks, man.
And when you did Shemp, the 2000 movie, man, it was freaking awesome. And I'm so glad, because a lot of folks don't know that Shemp was Mo and Curly's brother, so
that's right.
Just freaking awesome. And Shemp, just always my favorite. And the things I've read about him, he was just a natural comedian. And with your stand-up comedy background, I mean, like, you were the best Shemp of all time, my friend.
So what's the joke that won it and caused you to made you win the Star Search over Sinbad and Rosie O'Donnell?
That's a good question. Well, a little background. I started in the theater as a theater actor. I got my degree in theater. I mean, I had been doing it since I was a kid and loved it. And, and I used to do some fun, crazy kind of sketch comedy, back in Baltimore where I grew up. We had our own comedy group. Who's from? Somebody from Baltimore?
I'm coming live to you right now from Bel Air, Maryland. So yeah,
get the hell out of here! Say hi to my sister, hon.
Hey, we just try to butt cans down the bay there, hon. You don't even worry about it.
My sister lives in Bel Air. Yeah, she lives down here off of I don't know, off of Bel Air Road down here somewhere, man.
Bel Air Road.
Yeah, send me some crabs from Carney's or something.
That's awesome, man.
You know what kind of crabs? Not the crabs that you think of. Maryland blue crabs, hon. But when I grew up, we had a comedy group called Animal Crackers when I was studying at Towson, and it was kind of like Baltimore's version of Second City. And I used to do all kinds of characters in comedy, and one of my favorite bits was I would do the Wizard of Oz in 2.5 minutes. As mayor of the Munchkin City. What's that?
What's that? On the morning show there, the 98 Rock was it probably Kirk, Mark, and Lopez at the time? Or
no doubt. And we used to get those guys on as our guest hosts for Animal Crackers.
Yeah, I remember listening to you guys on my way to school. So
there you go.
Yeah.
So that was kind of how I was cutting my teeth as a comedian while studying theater, and then. I got my first off-Broadway show, moved to New York, and worked in the theater. And I was making most of my living. Theater pays, nothing, no matter what level you're working at. And so I started street performing in front of the Metropolitan Museum, and I got in a show, off-Broadway show about stand-up comics called Three Guys Naked from the Waist Down, which I know it sounds dirty, but it's a metaphor for how comics feel when they're bombing in front of the audience. Feels like you're naked from the waist down. And think Dreamgirls, but with stand-up comics. A musical about stand-up comics, and it starred me and Scott Bakula, who you know from Quantum Leap, and most recently from NCIS New Orleans and stuff like that. And Scott and I have been longtime friends over the years since we did that show, and a guy named Jerry Colker who wrote the show. And had great music. It was a big hit off Broadway, and I played a stand-up comic. And I really hadn't done little to any stand-up comedy. And they saw me in the show. They go, "Hey, we want you to be on on our show." And I was like, it was the first season, and they had Sam Harris on there, who was like one hell of a singer, and the guy was killing it. And they were like, "When did you come on the show?" I go, because it was a musical. I thought they meant as a singer, and I'm like, "What is a singer?" I go, I can sing, but I'm no Sam Harris. And they're like, no, we want you to come on as a stand-up comic. And I go, well, I'm not really a stand-up comic. They go, well, you can win $100,000. I'm like, fuck, have you seen my act? So like, I'm working on it tomorrow, So I went on the show, and I kept winning. So I kept having to write new bits. I was taking like things out of my street act and turning it into a stand-up routine. And I was doing my Wizard of Oz bit, and I would, and each week I'd win. I'd have to come up with a new bit, So eventually I wound up in the semifinals, and I did some bit with like a coat where that, like the hand would come up out of the coat and get me high, and then, bring me a telephone, and then try to get me to commit suicide and all this stuff, and then I broke up with the coat, and I did this whole thing with Tina Turner, doing a thing for Rolaids, something like that, something that we come up with in Animal Crackers. And then I wound up in the finals against Sinbad. And I had kind of created this whole act based on a guy who was addicted to television, where I could change channels on myself with a remote control. And,
it's like the free click.
Oh, totally. Well, I mean, it's really what led to my voiceover career, because I didn't really have an act. I didn't really have jokes per se. Yeah. It was more it was more the joke was that I was a guy who grew up in a pop culture through television and kind of commenting on that. And so after I became established as a comedic actor in LA, people kept asking me to come. And go, oh, you do all these fun voices and stuff. Come audition for our cartoon or whatever. And literally, my first real professional voiceover job was the Crypt Keeper.
Oh, very cool.
Oh, wow.
Would you say that the pressure of kind of each time out having to come up with something fresh, something new, kind of bred that into the act, the quick bits, the quick characters,
totally.
Snapping between different things, which honestly is perfect for a voice actor. Yeah, that nails it, because everybody sees your ability to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's voice acting's not easy. I mean, people think, oh, I want to make, I can do voices, but it's like, try showing up with a script and winning the role away from other really great voice actors, and imagining what they want physically is happening, and conveying that with your voice. I worked with some of the best actors in the business who show up and they're just like looking at me going, what do I do? Because they're just, it's like, oh my God, you're so good. What are you doing? I go, I'm just imagining that it's happening with me, and it's and letting it fly. And, physically thinking about what, sometimes you have the artwork, sometimes you don't. Sometimes they create the artwork around what you've done. If I was the first one really to start putting a voice to Deadpool. And if I had seen, what Ryan Reynolds did and stuff like that, I wanted to make him more sarcastic. I wanted to make him foul-mouthed and, really, because here he was breaking the fourth wall and all that. And we did some of that, but they, because kids were going to be playing the game and stuff, they really wouldn't let me go as far as I would have liked to have gone. But
so I know Kat had a couple questions for you real quick.
All right.
She's a fan, major fanboy.
Thanks, Kat. I saw your name come up on this little. I realized that there was a little private chat thing on the side.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Kat wrote, "What are you wearing?" Underneath the table. Are you wearing? She wrote, Do you have pants on, John?
And you told me I'm sleeping on the couch.
That's quick and witty right there.
Yeah.
Anywho,
well, I am quarantined, so.
I was going to ask a bit about your Tales from the Crypt time. Maybe like some of your favorite puns, some of your favorite bits from the Keeper, and also my favorite part of the Crypt Keeper. Can you still do the Keeper Jam?
The Crypt Jam. The Crypt Keeper's in the house with a groove that's nasty and mean, like the effects of a guillotine. A permanent headache's the end of the mission, 'cause you have entered the Keeper's TerraVision.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
The Crypt Jam was awesome. That was Chucky Booker, who used to write a lot of music for Janet Jackson and a lot of hip hop artists and stuff. I mean, he was really fresh. I mean, that guy did really a great job with that song. Actually, the Heavy D had written a song that we had that was because he had come on and acted in one of the God bless his soul, what a great guy he was. Worked on one of the episodes of Tales from the Crypt. I think that was the episode with Whoopi Goldberg, right? I think, anyway. But gosh, there was so many puns. Sometimes now it's like, I do a lot of cameos. You can have a cameo for Mummy's Day or anything you want. Just look me up on Cameo. I'm available. But I get a lot of people asking me to do something new and different. And I'm just like going, oh my God. It's like you're racking your brain for a new and different pun. But some of the classic ones were always fun. And, years of working with Kevin Yeager and Gil Adler, who was a producer in the studio. We would go in and record this stuff, and after a while, I'd start improvising, or I'd do, because I did all these other voices and characters. I do, the Crypt Keeper is John Wayne, and next thing you know, next week they'd write something for that, or the Crypt Keeper is Stanley Kowalski in A Streetcar Named Desire. Stella,
Well, you were on my two shows that defined great legend and I's childhood, Dream On and Tales from the Crypt.
Well, Dream On, I think I was on a series, HBO's first series, First and 10.
Okay, yeah. Oh my God, I love First and 10.
I was the kicker. I was Zagreb Shkanuski. I could kick 60-yard field goals, but he was always like trying to pick up women. He's like, "Hey, I play for the California Bulls. I fuck you both." Yeah. Like, she likes me. He's the funniest character. But, they just had me a couple of times playing one of Brian Benben's friends on Dream On. I played a guy, Chuck, who had a bad divorce and was living out of his car. And it was a fun time, but that was HBO's. That was their signature comedy, sports and sex. And different combinations, and until maybe Sopranos came along, and then there was they threw.
You're exactly right.
Dragons and dongs.
It seemed like 90s had that. It was like, I don't know if it was either Friday or Saturday night. I was just always sneaking it in when I could watch them, but Tales of the Crypt, Dream On, the sports stuff they had. And then you're right, up until the Sopranos, it kind of changed a little bit there, more dramas and more serious stuff.
But John, you're credited with changing HBO. Your series changed HBO's title, Just Not TV.
Oh yeah. No, we were sitting in the. In fact, they had. They used to do the television premieres kind of like a movie premiere, where they would show like a couple of episodes together, almost like a movie. And they showed the first 3 episodes, and you're sitting amongst all these HBO executives and stuff, and I remember somebody like, just off to my left or whatever went, "Oh man, this is really great TV." And the guy goes, "It's not TV, it's HBO." And you saw these 2 executives, their heads spun around like.
So has there ever been a talk about bringing it back?
Well, it's been tough because we don't own the rights anymore. The rights obviously always were owned by William Gaines and his family, EC Comics, and they when Bill Gaines was alive, he had licensed the show to what were the partners, Joel Silver. These are the biggest guys in the business at the time. Joel Silver and Richard Donner, Dick Donner did all the Lethal Weapon movies and Superman and Goonies, and and Robert Zemeckis and Walter Hill, 48 Hours, and all these great movies, and David Giler, who's producer on Alien, and Joel Silver's company was the main guys running the show, and I'd go in the studio. I was saying earlier, I'd go in the studio with Kevin Yeager. I didn't really have to deal with those guys that much, and we would have laughs all the time. Kevin, of course, had made the puppet, and they didn't give us much money to work with, and of course, nobody made that much money on the show. It was very expensive to produce the show if you could afford to produce it nowadays. Getting the rights, but once we stopped producing the show and the movies, we didn't own the rights anymore, and they've tried to sell them to different people. So the one problem is that this puppet was made specifically for our version of Tales from the Crypt. So we have this guy and me, but we don't have the rights to Tales from the Crypt anymore. They have the rights to Tales from the Crypt, but they don't have this guy. So it's kind of like, I think over the years of bargaining money, and maybe there was some bad blood.
Now, John, we are a comic book channel.
Yeah.
Have you ever delved into those old EC comics?
Oh, I collected them as a kid.
Oh, that's awesome.
I had pre-code comic books. My mother gave them away to some kid down the street, of course, while I was in college. You know, she was like, "Oh, I was cleaning out the attic. Oh, they caused juvenile delinquency." You know, and you're like going. I used to have to hide them in my Casper comics because I wasn't supposed to have them. You know, there was so much bad press about them at the time, which is the reason comic books today have codes on them, was because of those comic books. But,
I used to have to sneak around to watch your show because my mom
really
didn't like scary things. So I watched you in Tiny Toons, and that was all acceptable. But you, as the Crypt Keeper, was too scary in my household.
You know, it's very common. I have so many people that come up to me and they go, "Oh my God, you scare me so badly." And everybody used to, you know, I'd carry around the doll, and you know, people would say it was my boyfriend or whatever. You know, girls would say that or whatever, and you know, they go, "It scared me." You know, I'd come into the room and I'd have to see him, and then it would run out of the room, and I got, and now you got him tattooed on your neck, right? which is not far from the truth. I've seen so many Crypt Keeper tattoos, and now, of course, the trend is to have me sign them and have my signature tattooed, which is kind of bizarre. But at the same time, you got to love the fact that, you know, you kind of know you've made it in this business when your characters are tattooed on people.
Well, I know we don't have that much time with you, and I appreciate you for coming on. But
my pleasure.
Is there anything that you're working on right now that you'd like to talk about that's coming out?
You know, I mean, a lot of animation stuff, you know, I mean, it's hard because you have to produce it at home right now. And you know, I just got all this, you know, all this new expensive equipment and stuff. You know, most of my equipment at home was just audition level material, you know, equipment, because that's all I needed, because I was always in the studio doing the work. Mm-hmm. But now, of course, you know, they need you to edit it and do all this. It's time consuming. Most of the stuff that I'm doing is just, you know, I'm enjoying, you know, my time off as much as I can, but I still get a lot of work, and it's tough because it takes a lot of time to do it when you have to produce it yourself at home. You know, I've been doing a lot of cameos for fans every day, which, you know, I have this weekend, Quarantine Con. If you go on my Facebook page, John Kassir, or Twitter, it's Quarantine Con. You can find the link, and I think you can join it. You can go on for free, and Kane Hodder's going to be there, and Stephanie Shepis, and a number of other people, all kinds of great artists and horror people and everything. We're going to have a really good time.
We had a con last week.
What's that?
We did a con last week on here.
Did you really? That's awesome.
Yeah.
This literally will be like you're at a convention. You can actually do Q&As. You can walk up to the person's table kind of and you know, type stuff into them, and they can talk back to you. And then you can purchase, you know, private chats. You can you can purchase photos that I can sign photos. You can, you know, I can do your voicemails like I do at the convention. So it's the closest thing to actually have. These guys had been setting this up for the last 9-10 months, and just out of, you know, bad luck coincidence that this was happening, it was the perfect time to get it all set up and get it charged. So, you know, and hopefully in the future, they'll also be able to do these at live conventions as well, so that if somebody can't make it to a convention and there's a whole group of these, you know, actors there, they can, you know, get together with their favorite actors and do it from home if they're unable to make it, and that kind of thing. But
Jack and I were talking before, and he wanted me to reach out to you later. I'll send you a message up here. Sorry.
Great.
Yeah, because we had Kane on and Kevin Smith, and I don't even know everybody. It was ridiculous. Clark Gregg. We were actually trying to get you, but it was just way too short notice.
Well, thanks for thinking of me. If you're not seeing me, I'm just looking up it's quarantined with an ED, quarantinedcon.com. Look it up. It's going to be awesome. We're going to be there all weekend, all over the world.
Well, that's
you know, they can start 10 a.m. Eastern time or Texas time. I think they're set up in Texas. 10 a.m. I think Central time. through 10 p.m. Central Time, on Sunday. So, if I get up in the middle of the night and, I happen to see somebody on my computer, not actually see somebody, but somebody going, "Hey, dude, can you do hey, dude, I'm in Pakistan. Can you do my voicemail for me?"
So,
"Hello, this is the Crypt Keeper. I'm going to make you a finger curry."
That's awesome.
But
Awesome.
It's hilarious. But are you going to be coming back? Are you going back on Rick and Morty anytime soon?
Those guys they don't use a lot of people more than once. They like to spread it all around. Of course, I got to play one of the most iconic characters they've ever had, Blim Blam. Yes, I have space AIDS. It's those guys are insane. They have a great sense of humor. And, obviously, I'm a huge movie buff. So, if you like movies, that show has that other level where there's, satirizing movies all the time. So I'm sure they'll have me back sooner or later, but they'll pretty much go through Hollywood before they start doubling up on people. That's just like the way they like to do it. So, but we're all cool. It's all great. I love that cartoon. I love doing cartoons. Cartoons are the best. It's, I still do a lot of on-camera stuff. This last year I got a call from Pamela Adlon, who I've worked with for years, and I hadn't seen her in a long time, and she's had such success and asked me to come on Better Things and just do a little cameo. I played a guy who was, begging for some weed. I guess that was the Reefer Madness, thing or something. And she goes, "I want to have you back. You said we barely used you." I was like, "Well, as long as you pay me, I don't give a shit, But it's like, I did so much on camera stuff over the years, and now it's kind of like voiceover is my bread and butter. As you get older, there's just less parts written for you, but the parts that I do get are pretty colorful and fun. I did Hellraisers. Is that the name of it? Look on my IMDb. It's called Hell Something or Other. And it's with and Bruce Dern and Adrian Barbeau and Billy Zane.
Oh wow, yeah.
And who else is on that? Oh,
Hellblazer.
Tony Todd. Tony Todd is in it with me. Hellblazers, thank you. And I play this really quirky kind of interesting auto mechanic, which is why I look all scruffy. No, that's really funny. I'm competing for the online Colonel Sanders, but we're having a good time. We had a really good time making that film, and that'll be coming up hopefully sometime next year.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And can you take us out as the Crypt?
I will, but be careful what you ask for. You may get it.
Thank you so much, John.
Thank you.
Thanks, John, so much. You're awesome.
See you, man.
Guys.
I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you.
Damn, man, John Kassir live here at the Comic
I
Corps.
love him.
Man, amazing.
And big shout out to Justin Rinkin and his comics giving a super chat. Look at that dude in that hat. That's how I rhyme, because it's all about that. But our next guest up is the MVP of Mainframe Comic Con, who's got her Kickstarter starting up.
Oh, yeah.
She hasn't taken a shower, so she's always a little filthy. Here we go.
Whoa.
Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, I'm in my fucking office and shit. And I just stupidly fucking put in the YouTube channel because I was saying, "Oh, yeah, hey, to my friends, you better check this shit out or something." Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
oh, well, here we go. That's the thing, if anybody wants to look at the stupid thing. But how you guys doing?
Oh,
You're doing well.
Great.
How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm actually it's weird because during this whole time I'm incredibly prolific. So right now I'm working on Photoshop on the rest of the cards for the Kickstarter. So it's essentially I'm doing a character called Demon Bitch. I don't know if Catherine Figures is familiar with it. It's essentially about all the girls I fucking hated. They were mean to me. So I'm hey, guess what? I got to go and draw these fucking awful things. And it's just the grossest comic ever. It's based on real stupid bitches I knew. So I decided to do. So I've done 2 Kickstarters already. So I did She Sucks, and then the newest one, Alcoholics and Anonymous, which is like Water for Chocolate but shitty. So that was too. And so I've already just sent out everything to the Kickstarter crowd everywhere. And I said, well, WonderCon's canceled. Yeah. Just a weekend. Thanks, dude. And then I decided, well, fucking San Diego Comic-Con's canceled. So fuck it. I just might as well run another Kickstarter. So that's happening on the 20th of May. So
awesome.
What I'm going to do is that since I'm just going to slut out the whole fucking quarantine thing. Why not? So Demon Bitch is diseased anyway. So I have now a shitty tarot deck called I Told You So, but it's not really a tarot deck. It's a Lenormand style deck, which is another famous way of fortune telling. But then I'm putting shitty oracle cards in it of some of my artist friends that are really good. Raw Dog from Real Deal Comics, a fan of graphics, he expressed his thing into it. Feel free to click on it. I mean, you can even share it. It's a preview link, but I don't give a fuck about that. Demon Bitch's next level shit. But yeah, you can look at it. It's not completely done. It's 80 to 90%, but I'm going to start putting in more stuff. But yeah, so I mean, right now I have the bandana dusk mask combo, which is just this soft bandana that goes around. And it just says on the mouth kind of where it says, why doesn't maybe somebody can take DMT and talk to the coronavirus. And it just has her puking and shit all over. Just like the coronavirus. I mean, you guys can take a look at it. You're welcome to put it out there in the general chat so people can laugh at it. And then I'm putting in more pins as stretch goals and books. And I just said, it's a good time for Kickstarter because everybody's sitting around and they want to be entertained. So you'll see me entertain people for 33 days straight. It'll be from May 20th to June the 23rd. And probably at the end of the day, I'll be so fucking tired.
Anybody who's interested in Christie's Kickstarter, it's what's his I Told You So campaign. That link is now in the description of this video on YouTube. Just copy and paste that. So
it's
easy, clickable version.
Now, do you care? Can I share my screen and show them?
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, I have no shame. I'm putting it out there, and people can write all sorts of things. I mean, they can even write dick jokes in it, so it's fine. I'm okay with that. I mean, it's weird because every Kickstarter I get a dick pic, just one dick pic, and it's amazing. It's what the fuck?
Just one? You only get one?
Only one?
Just one. Every time.
Is it the same one, or are you at least getting a variety of that one?
Just one. It's weird. Okay, so last year, I think the dude was Turkish or something because by the name and everything, it's just the name sounded Turkish. And he just literally put up a thing that said hi and then me and then his dick. And I'm just looking at what? And then I blocked him. But of course, I screenshotted it, everything, and I went, fuck you. And so what I do is I just take that opportunity. Of course, I couldn't show the dick on Kickstarter, so I drew this banana thing. And I said, no, I don't want to look at your silvery fucking elf hair dick, dude. So, yeah. And then around this time this year,
imagery
message wanting me to go, and he said the typical, "You're so beautiful" and everything. I'm like, oh, I think I know where this is coming from. Not that I take any sort of compliments about my looks as an immediate thing. It's just you get it after a certain period of time. I know where this is going. So he said to me, I'd really love to do anything to you that might be really forward of me. And I'm like, all right, let me do this. And I said, how about this? I know one thing you could do for me. He says, what? I said, support my Kickstarter. And then he shows me a picture of his dick, but it's blank because I guess he fucking took a big high res thing and he wanted to wait forever or something. I'm I don't have time for this. So I blocked him, but then I found his dick and I started making fun of it. Of course, I blocked it off. But of course, you send me a dick pic, I'm going to show you your name and fucking everything. I don't give a fuck. It's unsolicited. Didn't ask for it, so fuck you.
Could be a special tier on the Dick Starter.
Ryland actually last Kickstarter, if you look at what is it, Off the Wagon Panhandling Tour, he actually midway through the campaign said, I will sword fight anybody for $10,000. And I'm like, all right, sure. I put it in there and he got it with Jason Inman and all of them. And I'm like, wow, I never knew. I thought I'd been in the middle of a Twitter thing. Holy shit. I just kind of go with it. I mean, that's the thing. And it's So yeah, but I mean, it's just like the idea started because people were kind of like going, "You need to do a tarot deck. You need to do a tarot deck." I'm like, all right. And then I never do what anybody tells me to do, so I made a Lenormand deck because that's what I felt like doing. So it's an actual honest to God. Like I actually do read cards. I do like fuck around with them because it just interests me on a certain level. Like how can some people be so good and so spot on, some people are just shit. So it kind of made me think of the whole concept of intuition, other meta concepts, which was interesting. So after fucking around with these for a while, I just said, you know what? Let me just make my own. So it's 36 cards and about 10 shitty ones. So they're all shitty, but I asked them really good artists to go and just fucking
really
put their asses down for this thing.
So Demon Bitch, I Told You So Kickstarter introducing 6 starts on May 20th and ends June 23rd. Guys, get in there. Make sure you put a reminder in there and let's get this project made, because anytime we can get Christie on here, I mean, geez, she doesn't go back.
One of the reward tiers is my pancreas with tits. Because the thing is that I had a 6. Okay, so the saga of this is that.
Do you want me to pull that picture up?
Please, yeah. Right. Just show them the pancreas with tits. So the thing is that story behind this is that you guys probably don't know. I know Drew and Chad kind of know about it. I had a pancreatic tumor that was 6 inches big. And so it ranged for like, oh my God, maybe you might die, to you're going to be diabetic, to like, okay, you're fine now. So it was like 6 inches big. And when they showed me a CAT scan of it, the 2 big cysts looked like tits to me. So of course I drew it. So I put it on my Instagram and Facebook last year. So I made a pin out of it. And that'll be available.
That's awesome.
You're the best. I just fucking laugh so bad.
It's just you have this look on her face, like she's gonna be 3 inches big, kind of square too. So it's like, yeah.
This is awesome.
I mean, come on! I came out with a Plague Doctor, Black Thick 51. She's an oldie but goodie. She keeps coming around in Europe. She's European, so she's the Black Death. And then I came up with another character called Cove Thick 19, and she's got big ass and titties, and that's where her protein receptors are in her head. So yeah, just like stupid shit like the DMT one. That's my friend Dallas Washington. Oh, Chris said you don't fuck around tarot cards. Bad things happen when you fuck around with tarot. No, Chris, I argue with that. That's raising Satan. I tried that once. I ate some terrible Chinese food as a result, and I really love Chinese food. But we just went to an okay Chinese place. It literally said okay Chinese food, and I'm like, okay.
So you made the mistake of being in the chat when one of our oldest subs shows up and he hits on anybody that is a woman in the chat.
Oh, I know who y'all talking about.
And that is the mailman himself,
yeah.
Mailman.
The youngest grandfather. Congratulations.
You know what they say about the mailman? It's funny that his name's the mailman, but he never delivers.
Oh, my friend, the artist Rose is in there, and now we do this fucking thing. We kind of troll everybody on this, and not in a mean way, but
yeah.
Probably, if you guys have a Facebook, you notice the cares one where it's hugging this heart and everything to make me feel better about being locked in.
Right.
And it's like, just put up this post. I said, doesn't it look like it's like holding a pair of breasts and squeezing them together? So now my friends and I, like, we just go around fucking putting the cares emoticon where we want to. And then, like, Rose and I, we just start fucking doing it to everybody. It's like, look, it's a pair of tits. And some people have noticed that, like Christine, I think Christina Dieck Linzer, Joseph Linzer's wife, he did Dawn. When she was like putting that up, like, yeah, Christie pointed this out. So it's like squeezing a pair of tits. And so, like, now we just put that for everywhere.
Now, Christie, did you watch Tales from the Crypt back in the day?
Oh, yeah, in the 90s. Yeah, I didn't have cable. But, you know, then again, like, I was kind of broke and I didn't really watch a lot, but I would watch it on video. And then when he was on, I was kind of like going, oh my God, now I'm thinking of Beavis, like, you know, what is it? Yeah, why don't you take a look at my nutsack? Like that. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, that just was running through my head when he was talking the whole time. I'm like, oh, fuck.
I remember my
uncle
got a converter box back in the day. Well, they called them hot boxes.
Do you remember hot boxes? Yeah.
Yeah. So he had one, and we all went over to his house to watch something. and we were watching it, and it started flickering. So he called the cable company and was like, "Hey, my cable's fucked up." And then all of a sudden, the box just went blank.
That's when they caught him. Yep.
He's like, "No."
I got one of those black boxes off a friend, and my dad wouldn't let me hook it up. And then I finally hooked it up, and it was a revelation, man. Showtime was a revelation to a young boy.
Skinamax.
Yeah, Skinamax was a revelation.
That's
And HBO just had the craziest shit that, like, nowadays it's nothing. You get on the internet, you go to 2 websites, and then all of a sudden, like, you're a sex offender just from being there. Nowadays, that stuff doesn't even like tip the scales at all. But like, it was so taboo when we were to watch boobies on horror anthology shows.
Because of Dream On, I thought sex was like everybody had a cheerleader on top of them with pom-poms. And I was like, what the fuck? This 3 seconds didn't happen this isn't what happened on Dream On.
I remember my friends and we would get really bored because we were all in college. That kind of dates me here. But it's funny because we would just sit there and they said, "Hey, let's watch some porn." And it wouldn't be like, "Oh, we're going to have like this weird orgy or something." We just hung out. We just get stupid ideas in our head. Like, we didn't get stoned or anything like what most people do in college. We were just fucking warped. So I said, let's switch it around. So we switched it around where they would have a porn channel, but it was like all fuzzy and gray because you didn't pay for it. And we just sit there and just make fucking comments about it all day long.
Yeah, the occasional flickering boob is a formative moment in every young boy's history from that time.
The old flickering.
How many times?
Fronting was weird too.
Hey, how many times I don't know, Mark, have you ever delivered pizza?
Me?
Yeah.
Not officially.
Like, when I delivered pizza, I was so...
What the hell does that mean? Not officially.
He's delivering black market pies.
I guess so. I don't know.
I just remember when all I wanted to do was be a pizza delivery boy. And I thought, like, you just automatically get sex, but that didn't happen.
Okay,
the
weirdest thing I
What, that someone can't afford to pay for that pizza, but they have to pay for it somehow?
Anchovies, right? Was it anchovies?
I do have a true story that happened to me today that will make you guys laugh your asses off.
Oh, God, yes.
So I was getting ready to plan for the show tonight. I get a phone call from a guy named Jason. He calls me up and he says, "Hey, man." Starts talking. He was like, he said he couldn't do the show until after May 17th. And I was like, "Yeah, no problem. We can come on then." And him and his buddies go to Steeler game. They go to they get 10 NFL games a year. They're going to Buffalo this year. And then afterwards they're coming down. We're going to go to a Steeler game. And we were just talking. And I said, "Dude, I got to tell you a story." And he's like, "What?" I said, it was in the heyday of Power Rangers. And I was working at KB Toys, and I can't tell you what I was offered by mothers in French maid outfits for a White Ranger.
That White Ranger.
Oh, I like saying shit like White Power Ranger, but in a certain way. And after the second or third phrase, people start laughing hysterically.
That's not right. That's not right.
Yeah, it's like, the White Power Ranger is the best ranger ever in the world. He is the most powerful, and he has the best equipment ever. The White Power Ranger people after the third one just start going like, "Oh fuck."
So you're gonna come on when the White Ranger comes on?
I don't know. I could be doing that. I'd probably say a lot of offensive things. You're like, "Who's this bitch?"
You mean you bring Tommy on here? Jason David Frank or whatever?
Yeah, that's who I was talking to her.
Damn, okay. I didn't know you bringing Tommy up here.
Name dropping, Chad.
I know. Things are changing.
You want to pick that name up?
Hey, dude, I got Christie in here. I was like, yeah. I was like, dude,
Yeah.
Jason.
Christie, was Jason was he trying to
What?
say stuff? Was that Jason guy scaring you in the chat?
Oh, that guy? I'm kind of dead inside, so it really doesn't matter. I mean, I had like guys like in the 90s like hit me up on Yahoo chat and shit, even though I was on private.
Yeah.
And so like I knew the guys from Fugly. I don't know if you guys remember Fugly.
Yeah.
So one of my friends was Cheese Dog, and he like would fuck with people, and I wouldn't go out of my way to fuck with people. But after like the millionth time of somebody just really trying to push me to have cyber with them, like, all right, motherfucker, you're done, you know. So after the second or third time, I'm being like, yeah, okay, yeah, go away. And then they're like, no, but do you want to? I'm like, we're gonna have to do this, you know this. So I just said, okay. So one time I got in on, oh yeah, this is my evil black cat right here. So whenever, and she has a skull butthole too. I'm not going to tell you, but anyway. So what happened was that one guy, I got him to. I told him I'm really ashamed of what I'm turned on by, and he says, "What do you mean?" I said, "You know, I'm really turned on by Pokemon, and I want you to say a certain phrase for me. So every time I'm ready to go." I want you to say this. And he says, what? And I said, I'm really shy. Come on. And he says, no, just tell me. And I said, Pikachu, I choose you. So I started typing up like this net sex thing involving Misty and Ash. And again, it wasn't really overtly sexual. Like I didn't get gross that way, but I just said, you know, and I do this and I do that and I'm writing. And it's like, yeah, like, why don't you say this? Remember, say the phrase. I need you to say. He says, Pikachu, I choose you. And he did this like quite.
Oh God.
And people were just like, oh fuck, Christie.
Poor guy.
I just logged up after 5 minutes because he realized I was fucking with him. And then like I even went further and I like would get like a fake picture. And I put it up because at the time I like did not want people to fucking bother me unless I knew them in chat. Like I knew them personally and this was my way of talking with my friends. So I got like a random like Asian model picture. And oh my God. I mean, I hope this guy's not watching me. No, but he basically started like, hey, that's not a real picture. I said, what do you mean? He says, that's a model. That's not you. And I said, oh, I see what it is. I said, so I bet you think we all look alike too, huh? And he's like, wait, no, I'm sorry. So, I mean, the internet gets better and better. I mean, I've been hit up on Facebook. Like I made mapo tofu and I was like, hey, look, because I'll randomly put pictures of food I make because I like to cook. And then all of a sudden, like this guy says, hey, hey, cutie, I want to marry, you know, like the copy paste. I'm in the U.S. military, but yet I'm stationed in Mexico, but I'm from like this thing. And so he did that. And like, but it looked like he copied and pasted like 2 letters at once, but he maxed out on the Facebook comment thing. So it cut off. And it was just on my mapo tofu thing that guy was Jason. So what ended up happening was when he did that, he just said, well, why don't you PM me? I said, you know, he just wanted to Pikachu. So what ended up happening, I know I'm like dagging on this so long. So what ended up happening was that, oh God. So I guess like I ended up, oh God, gone in my trains of thought have crashed. But anyway, the other guy, I just grossed him out because then I started talking about how I was into scatology and piss and water sports and everything. And he got really upset at me. And he says, ew, because he wanted me to call him. I'm like, you know, my cam's broken. I would always pull that, my cam's broken shit. Mm-hmm. And then I just said, well, you know, just do me from behind and just do your business in a jar so I can watch it bob around while you do me from behind. And he just got really upset. And he logged off and blocked me.
That's classic, man. Classic cyber days, you know, the old school.
Oh, but the guy that the Mapo Tofu marriage deal, he was just like, oh, let's DM each other. I said, no. I want you to, everybody to see your 5th grade learning, okay? And he said, oh, come on, don't be like that. He deleted all his shit. But I got screenshots of it, too. And I just said, hilarious internet.
If you guys haven't checked out Christie on YouTube, I was last weekend, I was actually listening. I think it was like Wednesday or Thursday. I was doing work and I was listening to your show, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, you ugly, come here.
She knew you were watching, Jeff.
And I said, who the fuck's talking to me? And
oh my God.
I was like, is that my dog? I think I told you. I was like, yo, come here.
I got that from like a guy that I'm friends with on YouTube. He had like a white cat, and he's just like, hey you, and he was poking his cat with his sock. Hey you, he's poking the cat's ass with his sock, and the cat's like, that's great.
Oh my god!
Oh, one girl like got mad at me because she thought everything was about her, so she just said, "You should go get fucked by a blender."
Oh, damn, mean.
Wow.
And I just went like, wrong choice, bitch. So I took demon bitch and I ran with all the fucking blender jokes I possibly could.
Oh my god.
Oh god, one of my friends, Don Wynn, he does Pablo the Gorilla. He drew her fucking like a blender in the Alcoholics and Anonymous. He uses a pin up. She's like,
Sorry.
That's not right. It's not right.
no, I don't do things that are right. I'm not right in the head right now.
Blender, come on.
Well, for those that don't know, what's the concept behind Demon Bitch? I'm sorry.
You're just laughing because you just already. It's just girls that I used to be friends with that were terrible to each other. I mean, I know a Cat Ren figure. I'm sorry, I didn't get introduced to you guys. Like, what's your names again of Cat Ren figures?
Cat Ren figures, and that's Mark.
This is Mark.
He doesn't talk. He lives in a fucking box. And this is the great legend, and it's his birthday.
Oh, happy
Birthday
birthday!
time. Thanks, Christy. Ready to have some birthday cake here in a little while. It's gonna be good.
I've seen some birthday cake. Did you nail it with like on Pinterest?
No, this birthday cake had some old baking powder used, and it didn't come out right, but it's still gonna hopefully taste good.
Just enough sugar in it. Yeah. Okay.
The icing's good.
A little dense.
Just cover it. Just cover it in icing. You're fine.
Icing is the best part, man.
So as you know, in Cat Ren figures, girls can be fucking cunts to each other. We know this, right? They're evil. Like, seriously, guys will fucking be assholes to each other. Girls go and demoralize each other. They will rip each other down. So I used to have girlfriends like that, not surprisingly. I'm sure every girl has dealt with this shit. So for all the girls that were mean to me, fuck you. So that was Demon Bitch was all the girls that were fucking ever mean to me. And I just drew them in the worst ways ever. I mean, one of them, I found out later, became a disbarred lawyer because she was fucking over immigrants by taking their money, and then they would get like deported in absentee. And I'm like, wow, bitch, really? And so I just made her as egg lady and shit. And now she's like a multi-level marketing failed athlete that runs like a pig. I mean, it's not like body shaming a person because they just look like, she is just like, I'm running marathons. It's like, why then do you look like you fucking sit on the couch all day and drink sour cream out of a glass?
I know this girl. I know her.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you know.
My ex-wife.
Oh,
I'm not body shaming. I was heavy for a very long period of time before the goddamn tumor came out. I'm just like going, you're saying like, I'm an athlete. I beat this time. It's like, no, you don't. She'll have Demon Bitch pop out of a cake for you. Ew, gross. Yeah, no, and then there's other ones like Bed Hopping Horse. She wants a solid man, so she gets together with married dudes.
Yeah.
That makes sense,
I know
right?
that girl. I know that girl.
Now,
I know a
Christie,
few of those girls.
this is perfectly branded for like little vinyl toys that come in little mystery boxes. When are we getting our mystery pouches of Demon Bitch figures? When is that coming?
Oh shit! I've been begged to do plushies. I've been begged to do toys. That is something I'm slowly getting into.
It could be like R-rated Pusheen.
Oh god, I don't know if it's even going to be R-rated. Like, it's just going to be nasty. Like, I swear to God, you know, like how you have the scratch and sniff shit.
Yeah.
I somehow want to go and like permeate the plastic with rotten egg smell or sour milk.
Rotten
This bitch
eggs,
looks like she fucking would smell of sour milk. Like, just you know. I mean, I'm gonna see how I'm gonna see how the dust mask / bandana combo looks like. You know, with a stupid thing on the mouth, going like, yeah, why don't we take DMT and talk to the coronavirus? Because that works. You know?
You gotta get in touch with yourself.
Oh yeah, but that's not a thing that I'm not thinking of. I mean, I do have necklaces. They're on my store. So for the time being, if you really want to go and hold her, I don't know why you would, but at least the silver is antiseptic enough so it'll like not fuck you up so bad.
You need to reach out to Funko so we can get these figures made.
Yes.
Oh man,
I think NECA would do it.
Dude.
Dude.
Christy, you're speaking to my heart. I know a lot of these females. Okay, little horror story. I had a psycho roommate.
Wait, did you say horror?
Horror.
Horror.
It's kind of well been a
Makes
horror.
fun of the way I say it.
Horror
But yeah,
story?
she was a horror also.
I love
But
Yeah,
this segment's called horror stories.
but my roommate in college was just a
we're talking about that
nightmare to live with. And she got mad at me and she took some of my stuff and just started chucking it out the window. Now, we
Eight
lived on the
stories.
8th floor. And she started off with my childhood Garfield stuffed animal that I've had since I was like 2. And like threw that out. And then I walked in the room and asked her what the fuck she was doing. And she had my Starfire Bishojo, which had like just came out at the time. And I was like a broke college student. So like that was $1 million to me at that time. And she threw it out the window.
Yep.
And I got removed from the dorms because I tried to throw her out the window.
You got
Well,
caught.
you know, at least you won't ever do that again because, you know, actions have consequences sometimes. It's just like, you know, take your ass whooping like a good girl, you know. That's what I don't get. It's like, oh, God. Artist Rose says you can use the bandana as a kinky blindfold. Oh, God. Like a
It's a practical blindfold. It
I
doesn't
love
have
that your cat's like circling you this entire time.
It's trying to show off its asshole. I've seen it twice.
She's got a skull butthole. I swear to God, I would hold it up, but you know, I don't think it would show up too good on camera. Because she put her ass in my face all the time. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, it's just like, you know, I don't get it with some girls. Like, and I'm not saying guys don't do it either. I mean, you guys, you have your version of this, but I swear to God, sometimes if girls just don't. Some girls don't know when to fucking quit.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, do you understand? Like, you're gonna get your ass beat eventually. Or seriously, you're going to get gore danced on some level if you keep doing this. Like, you're going to meet somebody that does not have personal restraint. Even if they did, you push them so much, they're just going to go kick the shit out of you. And I've run into a lot of these girls like that. It's like, and then when I actually do it, they're like, oh, I can't believe it. It's like, what? You couldn't fucking believe I would kick your ass in some way or another? Fuck you. You know, you don't get to do that. You don't get to do that to me or other people. Like, it wouldn't be just me that they were doing this to, but they'd be mean to people, like in general, like for no reason, like throwing your shit out the window. It's like, the fuck you mad at me about? Like,
yeah,
I think it has a lot to do with it being like a cultural thing for, I mean, the longest time. Women don't fight each other. There's not going to be a fist fight confrontation.
I've fought some females in my day.
I haven't been to high school recently.
I'm saying society as a whole, it is not nearly as common for women to get in a catfight altercation as it is for two dudes to get a belligerent
I thought
and
your
smack each other in the face.
She fought my ex-girlfriend, and
I
I've
did.
seen earrings.
God damn, dude.
Are you like the prize? Were you like the prize princess of the joust?
No, she
Who
rolled
runs
up.
Border Town?
She rolled up
Now we're getting all ratchet here.
in a car full of girls at my tennis practice.
Yeah, she did.
And they said they were going to kick my ass. So I just unzipped my bag and grabbed my racket, which is made of titanium, and I walked up to her car and I slammed it on her car. I was like, all right, who's first?
Yep.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like,
And meanwhile, I was walking behind the fence, but like, I don't know this person.
Dude, I had to run drills for like 3 weeks after that, after my coach pulled me off her.
When I was in high school, the girl fights were the best. We would just like really gather. They'd all hold my earring, hold my.
You gotta pull your hair
Let
back.
me get this one
You
out
gotta
of
pull
here.
the hair back.
Take these off.
Chris, this is why I live in a box.
Dude, a real girl fight doesn't have all that hold my earrings. It has some girl coming up on another girl.
Pulling the hair.
Yep.
Right
You
now,
definitely gotta pull it back.
Oh no, I've seen hair get ripped out before in hallways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, here's
I'm
the
not
thing.
a hair puller. I
Yeah,
think it's a
what's
low
up, Christie?
blow.
So I got
Mine.
into a fight with a girl and I lost because I couldn't put my shit down. So I ran off. I didn't want people fucking with my shit in junior high. So as a result, everybody in fucking junior high started fucking with me. And there was this jock. He was 3 times my size and I was always afraid of him. he was the one to fuck with me after everybody started fucking with me. And I was like, that's it. And in class, I just launched myself at him. And I fucking was railing on him. And I don't know if he was hitting me. I was that pissed off. And apparently we got sent out of the office. He got in detention. And apparently all the kids were like, oh, fuck, you bloodied his nose. I was that angry. So this kid, 3 times my size, I fucking beat his ass for doing that. And then years later, I told my mom about it because at that time I didn't want to tell her because, getting in trouble and shit. For some reason, I didn't get into trouble. And my mom says, how dare that guy hit a girl? And I'm like, well, I kind of threw the first punch, Mom. And she's like, good. It's like I bloodied his nose and shit. So it's like, I don't know. Now it's like if a guy is trying to be weird and fucking threatening with me, it's like, go away, fucker. It's like, I'm going to go kill you right now. Just walk away, But it's weird. Like, not a lot of people fuck with me after that. There are a few, but they get it. So, and again, it's not like anything law breaking. I'm going to say this because I know this is public. This is not law breaking or anything. It's just like more of, all right. It's just like, I really am beginning to think it's more of attitude. It's just like how people, when they step to you and shit and it's like, Chad, I once got to hold it. But it's just like how you carry yourself. Like, just like, leave me alone, don't fuck with me, or it's just like, I'm coming here, I'm doing my thing, whatever. And if anybody wants to fuck with you, they're like I've had women fucking scream at me about personal monsters, a precursor to demon bitch. They said I bought into the misogynist programming of men. And I looked at her like, I have tits. What the fuck are you talking about? And I just talked at her like she was a fucking omega wolf and I was the alpha. It was weird because she was in my house and being an asshole. And I just said I just want to let people know that sometimes girls are assholes to each other. And she's like,
a lot of the time.
Yeah.
The artist Rose says, I gave someone a concussion, then convinced them it was an accident and didn't get in trouble for it. Nice. Well, Christie, I wanted to tell you, thank you for joining us. Legend's got to run because it's his birthday. And
happy birthday, dude.
Bye, Ledge.
And guys, we hit that 1 hour and 2 minutes. So, Christie, tell us where we can find you, how they can get that Kickstarter. I'm going to throw it once again up in the chat. Again, it's going to be in the description below. But
it's currently in the description below.
Kickstarter is there, and you can go ahead and follow it. Also have horrortourstudios.com, so I have all my other merch on that website as well. Let me put this in the thing.
All right.
And boy, that looked like the internet vomited, when you put it up there. But horrortourstudios.com, but that also has a link to my Kickstarter as well. And if you're interested in either shopping at stuff or doing other stuff or whatever, go ahead. You're welcome to contact me through the website. I do commissions. I do designs as well. And I just got merch. I mean, fuck, I'm not going anywhere, so I might as well earn money and pack it when I'm there.
Well, Christie, you always have an open invite to this channel anytime. We love you. You're the superstar at Mainframe. And with that, hey, Ledge, take us out.
Fans, thank you so much for watching the Comic-Core tonight. You know where to go when you want to see the Comic-Core, and it's here live on Friday night's Roundtable. Fans, this is the Great Legend, and for the Comic-Core, I'm saying peace out. God bless.